For men over 60, if you've observed your erections aren't as strong as you weren't imagining things before. And you're undoubtedly not by yourself. The fact is that many men endure silent suffering, accusing themselves out of embarrassment or, even worse, thinking it's merely a natural component of aging they must come to terms with. But what if I informed you that the true issue isn't that your blood flow determines your age and that a tried and true herb has been utilized for centuries that can assist you in taking back the powerful, long-lasting erections you believed were permanently gone? I'm Dr. Mojit Kara. I am a urologist with board certification. Has more than 30 years of expertise in assisting like you guys regain their sexual health in a natural and safe way without humiliation. And I'm going to introduce you to something that most medical professionals, yes, horny goatweed should never be mentioned. Seems strange, but what it can accomplish for men over 60 are extremely amazing. The majority of males either use this herb incorrectly, or worse, they mix it with inappropriate foods or create important errors that leave them disappointed, yet horny was utilized appropriately. Blood flow can be increased by goatweed. Rekindle your passion and assist in restoring your confidence in the bedroom. This video shows how. I'll demonstrate for you how it operates. To correctly take it, what to avoid and which foods to pair with it and how to prepare it is a component of a way of life that brings long-lasting effects. Don't fade because what you're going to discover may shift everything prior to our beginning. If you concern for enhancing your well-being as you get older, closeness and confidence don't forget to subscribe and activate the notification bell. I give useful information. Recommendations tailored to men over 60. Additionally, if this video is useful to you, please enter 0 in the comments. Your suggestions enable me to create material that actually serves. Let's start where it all begins, you by being fully aware of what a horny goat. It originates from marijuana, which explains why this an old plant is now causing a stir in health of modern men since earlier anything into your body, particularly you should be aware of the truth given your age. What is a horny goat behind it? Horny goat weed. What is it? I'll never forget the first time I used marijuana. Tom, one of my 68-year-old patients, the former principal of the school, asked me in a voice, low and embarrassed, "Doc, have you ever heard of the term horny goat weed?" He surveyed his surroundings as if he were grinned and confessed to a crime. "Yes, Tom, I have heard of it, but I suggest, as you can see, the horny goat is not some idiot online joke or gimmick. It's a potent plant with an odd name and a shockingly grave standing in the history of the men's health field, dating back more than 2,000 years, with roots in Chinese traditional medicine. The age-old, the intriguing tale that inspired its name concerning a goat herder who observed that following his goats grazing of a particular area plant, they grew notably more vivacious, particularly in one specific. The plant in question was Epimedium, or as we call it, horny. The West now. Folklore about goats is fascinating, but let's examine the science behind this plant that is very beneficial to guys. There is a compound inside for those of us over 60. This natural flavonoid is known as Arion. Functions in an intriguing manner and aids in enhancing blood flow through nitric oxide, a crucial chemical that calms the blood vessels, making it possible for more blood to reach where it should go. Yes, your penis, but Icarus, it goes beyond that. Has also demonstrated a slight inhibition of an enzyme known as PDE5, the same enzyme found in drugs similar to Viagra target, but in a more organic and soft. How a horny goat doesn't simply become better circulation. It has been employed for centuries to maintain the balance of libido hormones and boost vitality, particularly when in your 60s or 70s, you have testosterone gradually decreasing, and this type of energy frequently wanes around midday. Of assistance is not only beneficial, but it may also transformative. What I adore most about the fact that this herb doesn't attempt to compel your body to behave is that it helps your system, causing your body to start operating more naturally as it once did. Gradually and without severe adverse effects. That's crucial, particularly for guys managing hypertension who can't have diabetes or prostate issues. To withstand harsh drugs, horny goat provides a plant-based substitute that doesn't feel as much like doing drugs, and giving your body what it needs is more appropriate. Been missing? I want to tell you the truth now. If you were expecting a magic pill, this one isn't it. To get out of bed after taking it once, as though you're 25 once more, you'll be disappointed. But if you're trying to find a method to gradually and securely recover your confidence, increase circulation and begin having a greater sense of life, not only in the bedroom, but during the course of the day. Then this herb is worthy of your attention. It's also important to note that not every vitamin for horny goats is produced. An equal number of over-the-counter versions include inferior filler or very little Icarian, which is why I always advise my patients to seek out standardized extracts that contain 10 or more 20% Icarian with a clear label, both with and without the active component. You're merely ingesting crushed leaves. That won't accomplish. When Tom started taking a superior extract, he felt hardly anything immediately, but after roughly 3 weeks, he returned to my office smiling. His face revealed everything to me. Needed to know, I'm waking up, he said. Difficult once more, doctor. It's not as it was, but for the first time in a long time, I feel hopeful for a long time. Hope is the true focus of this. Nor hollow bluster, nor false promises, just genuine, consistent progress based on ancient knowledge supported by contemporary science. You now understand the reality. Horny goat cannabis is genuine and organic, and when employed properly, it may be a strong ally in supporting your sense of self once more. But here's the thing. You know what? It's just the start of what's important is what it can accomplish for you. Occurs when males over 60 start using it. The proper manner, what is altered, what is brought back. I want to demonstrate that to you next. I believe it could surprise in the event that you remain here and this message is striking a chord with you. Send a top comment in order to allow me to understand that you're determined to reclaim your well-being. Let's continue and proceed to the following crucial point. 2. What the benefits of horny goat weed for men over 60. Men over 60 can benefit from horny goat weed over. When more than 30 years have passed interacting with males over 60, as I have, you begin to identify a specific pattern. Observe them as they enter your office. It goes beyond the outward manifestations. Fatigued eyes or slouched shoulders. It's anything more profound, the silence annoyance of the type that results from being aware that something is lacking but not being able to retrieve it. For many of desire is the missing component for these males. Performance as well as the quiet assurance that once resulted from merely feeling similar to a horny guy. The horny goat enters the scene there, guy. Imagine it as a bridge rather than a miracle. A link between a man's current location and his former location, or much better, where he might be once more. I will refrain from throwing a bunch. I'm going to bombard you with textbook jargon. Tell you what I've heard and seen. Considering what the study and additional research have shown, most significantly, I've seen horniness in real life. Goats can enhance sexual performance in more senior guys by combining improved hormonal balance and enhanced blood flow assistance and increased libido. But greater than that, it can aid in the restoration of things men tend not to discuss, their feeling of a vitality. First, let's talk about blood flow. Circulation is necessary for erections, and as we age, our circulation starts to deteriorate. Plaque accumulates in the nitric, decreases in oxide production, and the vessels that once responded right away now take horny, either take your time or don't reply. Goat, because of its active ingredient Icarian, facilitates blood vessel enlargement by stimulating the release of nitric oxide, permits the penis to receive more blood, with arousal, resulting in more powerful, trustworthy erections rather than synthetic ones, natural ones that are body-driven rather than coerced answers that seem appropriate. The impact on men's libido comes next. Many people over 60 tell me, it's not only regarding the performance document, I'm not even feeling, no longer have the desire. That's a devastating disclosure since we're instructed to judge manhood by deeds, but actually, it begins with a horny feeling. Goats enhance dopamine levels in the hypothalamus, which is a component of the area of the brain that controls sexual desire. For this signifies the earliest stirrings for many males. Of curiosity, return that sensation of desiring rather than merely being desired can be profoundly empowering. Some research even indicates that horny goat weed could aid in controlling testosterone, or at least encourage its natural production by the reduction of oxidative stress and enhancing adrenaline production. Although it doesn't increase testosterone in the traditional sense, it undoubtedly enhances the performance of your hormonal system effectively, particularly when paired with exercise and a balanced diet, which I'll talk more about soon. I recall a certain patient. At the age of 72, Samuel had virtually given up. Had given up attempting to start anything. His wife was certain that the fire had disappeared when we started a customized plan that included his sticky goat weed. 3 weeks in, he said he was willing but skeptical. His vitality had altered for me, not only in bed, but all day long. I just feel more like me, he said after a month. He said in a whisper that he and his spouse had been in close proximity once more for the first time in more than a year, and his eyes were filled with tears. Eyes, as he stated, this is about more than simply sex. Identity, connection, and dignity. Horny when goat weed is effective, it has a method of men are reminded that they are still able to remain alive. And deeply to be clear, not all men are equal. Men react similarly, as some see. For some, it takes a week to change. Some people need to change their dosage this month, or combine it with further lifestyle adjustments. Indeed, there are people who feel extremely seldom at all, frequently because they're utilizing a subpar product or not a few crucial phases in their approach. Thus, the following section of this talking is so crucial, as understanding what horny goat weed is only beneficial if you recognize the proper way to take it, and this is where a lot of intelligent, disciplined men with good intentions make mistakes by taking it at the wrong moment with the wrong kind. May combine it with meals that inhibit its absorption. Thus, if you're sincere regarding observing long-lasting outcomes, you'll desire to listen carefully to what I say next, as this is where everything begins to make sense, and where most men either realize their greatest potential or totally fall short. How to properly consume horny goat weed. 3 methods for handling horny goats. Yes, there's a point at which I've realized anticipate in about every discussion I with an elderly patient who is prepared after I explain what a horny goat is, what it is, and how it could assist them. Lean in and ask gently, practically all the time, "Okay doc, how exactly do I take it?" The query is straightforward. However, the response can distinguish between seeing strong outcomes and observing nothing at everybody. The proper technique to take horny goat weed is more than just taking a pill by mouth and wishing for the healthiest version of yourself at 60. A machine that is 70 or older is not the same one was 30. It requires the appropriate form, the appropriate dosage and timing, and it requires constancy. When you receive those, when everything is in order, you begin to sense the distinction. Let's begin with quality. Because this is where, in my experience, most men make mistakes, but not all horny goats, not all cannabis supplements are made equal. Fact that there are a lot of inferior, inadequately extracted granules that possess minimal or no actual acarin, the active ingredient in charge of its perks for sex. If the bottle doesn't clearly display the percentage of acarin on the title, or if it makes use of ambiguous words such as proprietary blend, which is probably weak sufficient to have an impact. What you desire is a standardized extract that has at least acarin, at least 10 to 20%. That's what the studies back up, and that's what I suggest to my patients. Let's talk about dosage now. Most males perform well at 250 to 500 milligrams per day, particularly when the extract is powerful. You don't want to use too much of it. Is not always superior, particularly when herbs taken in excess or too soon can cause adverse consequences, such as headaches, jitteriness, or lightheadedness. Begin on. Put your body through a week or 2 to modify, and only go up if necessary. Pay attention to your body. It will tell you know what's working. Timing is also important, and I typically advise taking it first thing in the morning along with a light breakfast, which aids in as well as able to stop the minor adverse impacts that certain guys encounter when some people take it on an empty stomach. Men would rather take an hour or 2 prior to intercourse, which can serve as a contraceptive. However, only if they have been taking it regularly. This isn't a one-and-done situation. Imagine it more like a magic potion. When you water a garden, don't flood it once, and you water it to await blossoms. Gradually, consistently, and gradually begin to bloom. I get asked about riding by certain males. After a few weeks of use, I take breaks. Do you think riding a bike may help you stay? The responsiveness of your body is an excellent guideline. 5 days on, 2 days off is the thumb, or if you favor a longer rhythm, after 8 weeks of after 2 weeks off, these rest. Your system has an opportunity to reset and stop any tolerance from building. But the most significant error I observe is impatience. It is by far the worst. I had a man named Ron, age 64, try horny goat marijuana 3 times, days before discarding the bottle. When I said, "Didn't do a damn thing," questioned him about the type he used, and he assumed that I wasn't shocked to learn that he purchased an inexpensive mix online and took 2 after supper, pursuing them with a glass of wine. There isn't a recipe for outcomes, that's a formula for letdown, so if you're planning to consider horny goat weed carefully, give it the same attention and you would pay more attention to any other aspect of take the appropriate extract for your health. The proper quantity, maintain consistency, and most above everything, exercise patience. Change doesn't occur overnight, but it can occur, and what you consume is another matter. Can make the procedure better or worse. Foods can enhance horny's effects. Goat weed, but others can negate it completely. For that reason, in the following section I'll demonstrate the items you ought to incorporate this herb to optimize its advantages, as well as the unexpected ones you absolutely must stay away from if you wish rock-hard outcomes. What you consume may be the crucial component that opens everything. If you continue to watch and locating this priceless number, let me know in the comments. You remain with me and are prepared to accept taking charge of your health. Let's continue to move on to the 4th point. How to mix foods with horny goat weed. 4 ways to work with horny goat weed. One of the most neglected factors is food. Of any supplement, particularly one that works similarly to horny goat weed. With the meals you consume, in my experience, too many men have taken the correct supplement incorrectly just to go for a walk, ignoring the fact that it doesn't work. Your outcomes are not solely dependent on what you pair as well as what you take it with, the things that enter your body. In addition, horny goat weed may increase its impact or covertly sabotage. They remind me of one of my patients, Larry, who, according to the text, was doing everything, purchased a high-quality extract and adhered to the dose, which remained constant. However, after 5 he informed me he hadn't felt very well for weeks. I requested him to walk me to make a difference through his daily routine, and at that point, it became evident that he was taking his supplement while eating a substantial breakfast. Stuffed with bacon and manufactured carbohydrates, he would then use black coffee to wash it down. And a multivitamin, so it's no surprise that it wasn't working. You see, horny goat is finest when eaten with a light meal. It is absorbed. That encourages circulation rather than one that causes artery blockage before the day is started. Begins with packaged breakfasts that are high in fat. Decrease the absorption of nutrients and place strain on the systems you're attempting to. However, in order to support foods that aid in the herb's absorption more effectively while simultaneously enhancing hormones and blood flow balance, this is what I advise my patients to do. To maximize the benefits of horny goat, consider your diet to be the basis upon which all else is built. Beginning with foods that promote the same component as horny is nitric oxide. Goats naturally enhance leafy greens such as kale, spinach, and rocket, which are high in your body transforms nitrates, so adding those to your nitric oxide breakfast or midday meal contributes to this herb growing well in its interior environment. Beets are yet another great choice. Sliced raw in a salad or roasted and juiced, they include a lot of natural chemicals that ease blood vessel tension and support blood moving easily, particularly to places that might have felt silent or unresponsive for too long. Lengthy, followed by good fats, particularly those present in nuts and avocados. Fish obtained in the wild and olive oil not only encourage the creation of testosterone but also maintain the flexibility of your arteries and keep your cells well fed. More than just a hormone, testosterone is the source of your energy and confidence, and additionally, I urge males to include meals that are high in magnesium and zinc, such as dark chocolate and pumpkin seeds. These minerals are essential for sexual function and the control of hormones, and they much more than only enhance the impact of a horny goat, they back your whole endocrine system. And remember to stay hydrated. Despite its seeming simplicity, water is one of your health's most potent instruments arsenal. If you're not drinking enough water, your circulation gets thicker, slows, even with the greatest compliment. Conquer the 5 lifestyle combos. The lifestyle combination for best outcomes. For the highest outcomes over the years, I've discovered and acknowledged that the most significant adjustments to men's health issues don't occur in a single moment. They occur during the peaceful routines. The incremental adjustments and daily decisions that start to gain traction over time. Horny, although goat is a potent herb, it's not the men who see enduring magic. The outcomes of it are what created a component of a larger lifestyle that advances their objectives not only in the bedroom, but throughout their entire. I recall a patient named Robert, who was 70 years old. years old, who entered my workspace. He had been taking horny goats, which frustrated him. Cannabis continuously improves eating, even reducing alcohol consumption, but something was still absent. He inquired, "Is there, doc, is there anything else I should be doing?" Putting this into practice. I had a look at, "You're doing great, Robert," he remarked. However, it's time to move. The missing component for many males do not discourage exercise or everyday lengthy hours in the gym. Deliberate motion, a vigorous stroll, and a quick stretch in the morning and the evening, lifting light weights twice a week. Not everything is about muscles. They're concerning blood flow, which is everything, including your brain, penis, and heart, on which they all rely. The more you move, the better your circulation becomes. The greater your circulation, the better efficient herb for horny goats turns become. And movement has another gift: it does not increase testosterone. Need to artificially boost it. Hormone treatment just makes your body perform what it was intended to do. It lets your system know that you're still alive, robust, and involved with the world, but living doesn't stop there. Sleep is another essential component. Too many men don't care if you stay up late. Late night screen watching until midnight and only get 5 to 6 hours of restless sleep. No supplement can compensate for the lack of sleep. That the production of your testosterone occurs while your blood pressure resets as you sleep. Your nerve system and brain heal without that sexy goatweed repair is having a difficult time, and I always advise my patients to safeguard their sleep, such as its medication, since there is stress after that, which could sound unrelated, yet stress kills people without warning. Of male vitality, stress, and cortisol. Testosterone clogs and inhibits the hormone, your ability to think clearly, and may even hinder. I've seen folks with sexual dysfunction who, on paper, were doing everything correctly, but work was causing them to drown in pressure. Unspoken financial regrets within the family. Their bodies were always connected to their minds. Trapped in survival mode with no herb. No matter how powerful, that kind of internal noise exists, which is why a portion of your way of life must contain a method for calming your system. Whether it's breathing, prayer, or meditation workouts, or just taking a quiet stroll, your nervous system requires rest. The body and mind must feel secure in order for to enter repair mode. At that point, horny goatweed is capable of work. One practice I've recently promoted is what I refer to as purposeful mornings. Easy. Begin each day with a nutritious decision that establishes the mood. Perhaps it's consuming your supplement for horny goats with a large glass of water, perhaps a stroll before breakfast, perhaps, around the block. It has been sitting in the sun for 5 hours. Minutes spent simply breathing. These moments could appear tiny, yet they build up and serve as a signal to the mind and body that you are no longer waiting for change. Establishing. Robert did exactly that. He began taking a morning stroll, decreased his deep breathing, was incorporated throughout nighttime screen time. Before going to bed in 6 weeks, he informed me, something clicked, and I feel more adroit now. He was more powerful than I am, and yes, his intimacy was back, but it wasn't. It was more than just the deed. It was about connection, assurance, and being aware that he had something left to do. Offer this lifestyle combination is what doesn't it just make you tough? Completes you by re-establishing a connection with the man within that never left. Is someone who could have been interred beneath stressful years, bad habits, or silent annoyance, but he remains waiting for your signal to get up. And now that you know how to genuinely assist a horny goat by movement, relaxation, stress reduction, and purpose, it's time to bring it all together. As we have discussed the herb, the meals, the errors, and the lifestyle, one last fact remains. To discuss a single concept that connects everything together and serves as a reminder of why this travel is really important. Next, I would like to talk to you for a few minutes. Heart and assist you in recalling your identity. Stay put. Anywhere. 6A doctor's final message, a last word from a caring doctor who cares. I've discovered something after more than 30 years of dealing with males, something they don't always say, but years aloud, but I can understand it in their stance, listen to it in their inquiries, and sense it in the quiet moments in between their phrases. It's the silent anxiety that their greatest days are over, and the spark is no longer who they were when they were guys. Powerful, self-assured passion that has gradually disappeared, and that no matter how difficult they try, that heat will never be felt. Once more, however, I have something to share with you today that I firmly think, not only as a physician, but as a man who has witnessed what's happened. That spark might still be there. Lost it's buried behind years of tension, restless nights, annoyance, and the burden of aging in a society that does not discuss enough what guys go through, yet it remains present and can be rekindled, not with publicity, nor with quick cuts, but with actual motion shift and the appropriate type of extremely horny goats, which are as unique as the one of them tools whose name it may sound like. Although it's not a panacea, it's a potent ally. It facilitates gate opening by increasing libido via enhancing blood flow, assisting with hormone support, and re-establishing anything more profound than your functional masculinity, but like any useful instrument, it only functions properly if you utilize it. Handle with caution and consistency. We have experienced a great deal together. You've learned in this video. The true nature of horny goat weed is not some online trick but a traditional herb with the support of contemporary science. You've heard about its potential benefits for males over 60, not only physically but also emotionally, bringing back energies yearning for even contact with a partner. I showed you how to take it appropriately to avoid wasting time, or you now realize that spending money on pointless outcomes and that your diet is important and that the proper diet can enhance the effects of herbs, whereas the incorrect ones might discreetly cancel them out. And we discussed lifestyle. Since no supplement is powerful enough to defeat a weaker body. Receiving internal support out, I told tales. Since this isn't for me, this is about men, not philosophy. I've sat with and observed men rebuild their marriages and rediscover joy, and occasionally restore their self-confidence. I've seen it for the first time in decades. Laughter and tears of relief that had been years of absence, and that silent glance in a man's eyes upon realizing that he has it in him. And I'll reiterate this since I wish for you to truly hear it, but you are not too old. You are not broken. Unbelievably, you are still in your prime. It's possible that your body has slowed down and fallen, yet your soul remains strong, alive. What you're experiencing at the moment, the uncertainty, interest, and cautious optimism, the precise location of transformation starts. What happens next is up to you. Can use what you've discovered today and tell yourself to set it away. Perhaps later, or you can decide for yourself. To recover your strength now and your desired level of health, start small. If you must begin with a single modification. One better meal, one walk, one supplement, a restful night's sleep. Doesn't have to be flawless. It just must be. Since this isn't about becoming actual someone fresh, it's important to keep in mind who you've always been: the brave man, the passionate man, the man who once understood how to assume the initiative and who still can't make you a promise right away. Outcomes no sincere physician would, but what if you commit? I can assure you of this. To the horny goat marijuana usage procedure with discernment to provide it with sustenance, with rest as well as movement, you'll feel a shift. It might arrive gradually, it might arrive quietly, but eventually you'll awaken and recognize that you feel stronger and different. Crisper, more grounded, and oneself, and that particular moment is valuable in every way. You don't have to accept rejection. You don't have to accept the energy of intimacy, or you can take a break from the connection. Return control in a natural and gentle manner. On your own terms. So from one man to another, from a doctor who has witnessed thousands follow this identical route. You can accomplish this, I want to tell you. Since you're trying to reclaim your youth, but because you're worthy of feeling alive. Precisely where you are now, and if nobody has informed you recently, you remain a man with fire in your soul. A man who has more to offer, a man who can yet rise with the correct assistance. Strong. I appreciate you taking the time. Your life and your health are important to me. Is important, and this journey is only firstly. If this video resonated with you, it helps more males, so please like it. Share it with others if you discover genuine answers. A brother, friend, or anybody else in need to listen to this message, and I would adore. Tell us what you think by leaving a comment below. And tell me what struck a chord with you. Most of you want to back this channel and support my ongoing creations. Consider departing if you're satisfied with males over 60. A tiny donation goes a long way. Every message counts. I appreciate being present.